5 milligrams of THC in 12-ounce cans only, sold at liquor licensed establishments, age-gated to individuals 21 and over. They cannot be advertised to minors. And the key is they must be tested with a documented certificate of analysis approved by the Division of Cannabis Control. That way we know what's in them, we know where they came from, and we know they're safe. With that, I would urge concurrence on the conference report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Wilkin. The question is, shall the report of the Committee of Conference be agreed to? The chair recognizes Senator DeMora.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before I start my speech, I want to thank the other two conferees, Senators Huffman and Wilkin, for all the work. I mean, we were here after everybody else went home that night. We had a conference committee. I also want to say that the stuff on the hemp products, we all agreed on. We all voted for that bill when it passed as a regular bill, the hemp bill. Getting that stuff off the streets was the number one priority. I actually put a bill in separate of all the other things else to try to get that moving because we all know how bad that stuff was. And we need to get off the streets, and I commend that part of the bill. The trouble is, the rest of the bill, as we say in Italian, is ugazz. And I urge a no vote. I want to take a step back to November 7th of 2023, where 2,226,399 Ohioans voted yes on a measure titled the Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol Initiative. That's 57.4% of all Ohioans coming to say loud and clear that they know that marijuana is no more dangerous than alcohol, that the thousands of Ohioans that were arrested for smoking a joint should never have been arrested, that they want to grow weed at their residence, that they wanted 3 levels of cultivator and dispensary license, and they wanted money going to local communities. And in those 2 years, this body's done everything in its power to give Ohio voters the finger. This bill was introduced in January, it passed in February, then it stalled in the House for over 8 months. Then when the governor got fed up with the House's inaction on hemp and banned all intoxicating hemp, the bill became an omnibus, and it actually looked like we had come to agreement. We're going to regulate hemp, get the bad stuff off, and we're making progress on marijuana. But then, of course, the dysfunctional Congress in D.C. decided to ban all hemp, and everything fell apart. Now the bill in front of everyone will completely illegalize hemp, which is good. But as Senator Wilkins said, the beverages are going to go out of business when the federal bill takes effect in November, which is the fastest growing part of the market, which is something I think we should have regulated the entire time. And if the federal government changes its mind, it does. But I mean, I still worry that the fastest growing industry in the beverage market, being hemp beverages, are going to get hurt. And that right now is thousands of jobs in Ohioans who are doing this right now legally, but then it becomes illegally. The other part of this bill that's bad is it recriminalizes dozens of different provisions dealing with marijuana. If you move marijuana outside of the original package, and I don't know anybody at home grows marijuana that has their own packaging, it's now illegal. If you smoke on the patio of a bar, even if the bar owner wants you to do it, that's illegal. Some college kid who accidentally takes a fake ID twice is now a felony. And of course, we can't forget about the fact that we're going to have millions of dollars in taxpayer money be wasted on Ohio troopers sitting on the border of every road coming in from the state up north to see if people from the state up north are driving into Ohio with marijuana products, because now that's illegal. How are the troopers going to know who has marijuana products without having sitting in all the parking lots of the dozens of places up the state up north and looking and then stopping on the way in? I don't know, but still going to be needless amount of time and money spent doing that. And finally, the conference committee report in front of you makes it legal to discriminate against marijuana smokers for unemployment benefits, for housing, and even for organ donation. It's so needlessly crude that I don't even have a snarky remark about it. It's just the fact that if this passes, someone could be denied life-saving organ transplant just because they smoked a little weed. It's disgusting. It's a spit in the face to the voters of Ohio, who voted 57.4% to legalize marijuana like alcohol. Can anyone in this room explain to me how this is respecting the will of the voters? When 30 of the 33 Senate districts that we all represent passed Issue 2, why are we ignoring our constituents to vote for something that spits in their face? Because after the JCAR vote yesterday, which of course now banned all basically forms of advertising for marijuana companies, which of course now they're going to sue, all this stuff is going to end up in court, and all we've done here is pass a bill and pass the rules that say, go ahead and sue the state of Ohio. We'll spend millions in litigation for the next several years on something that people actually voted for, but now we're making illegal. Thank you, Mr. President. I urge a no vote on accepting report.
Thank you, Senator DeMora. The question is, shall the report of the Committee of Conference be agreed to? The chair recognizes Leader Antonio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in opposition and support a no vote on the conference committee report. As my colleague has pointed out, many of the reasons why we don't support the report of conference. Now, there's actually some good things in the bill, as always. Nothing is completely perfect on any side of anything, absolutely, that we do, that's for sure. In this case, there are protections for children, which is something that my caucus supported. We wanted to see in the bills that we've supported in the past as we sent them over to the House. We wanted to see those limits, those age requirements, the ending of advertising to children, of sending them non-standardized, compounded materials. We don't even know what's in them. So those elements of this conference report, those elements that are in the bill now, we absolutely agree with and think are going to make it safer for children going forward. But unfortunately, some of the key elements, the things that we wanted to continue to see as we debate, as we listen to Ohioans. And what was very important to my caucus is the fact that we've been consistent since issue 2 passed in terms of wanting to respect the will of the voters, addressing unsafe marketing practices, fund and include expungement. This bill not only doesn't provide funds available to folks who up to this point may have a record because they had possession of marijuana in the past. Now they'll be able to go to the courts and seek expungement, but not everyone can afford going through that process. And so, but for whether or not you have access to money will make a difference between whether you continue to have something on your record that going forward is now legal. We wanted to see some of those resources dedicated so that people would have a level playing field going forward, that this would be fair, but that wasn't included in this bill. We also wanted to make sure that there was social equity, that there was substance abuse treatment, criminal justice reform, those things that the people voted for, along with legalizing marijuana. So some of those elements are still left out. And as far as intoxicating hemp goes, you know, when all is said and done, this bill definitely benefits big marijuana business and at the same time leaves a lot of small business owners in the wake. For all of those reasons, I urge a no vote on this committee conference report.
Thank you, Leader Antonio. The question is, shall the report of the Committee of Conference be agreed to? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Antonio? Blackshear? Blessing? Brenner? Chavez? Sereno? Craig? Catrona? DeMora? Gavrone? Huffman? Johnson? Kaler? Landis? Liston? Manchester? Manning? O'Brien? Patton? Reinecke? Reynolds? Rogner? Schaefer? Smith? Timken? Weinstein? Wilkin? Wilson? President McCauley?
With 22 yeas and 7 nays, the report of the Committee of Conference is agreed to. With a point of personal privilege, the chair recognizes Senator Wilkin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I unfortunately stand today with a very heavy heart. Highland County Auditor for 32 years, Bill Foley, lost his battle with cancer and passed away on the day of the game. So Bill was a great friend. He started his career as a teacher at Lynchburg Clay High School, which is where I attended. And then from there, he went on to serve 3 different congressmen, both in D.C. and here in Ohio. Bill had knowledge, such a wide range, such a great institutional knowledge for all of us, that when I became commissioner, he became my best friend in the administration building. He was a guy I go to that could tell you how to get things done, what you could do, what you couldn't do. And unfortunately for me, on more than one occasion, I would hear him tell me, "You can't do that." And I would say, "All right, well, here's what I'm trying to do, Bill. Help me get to that point." And he would always walk me through it. But even more so than a friend in the administration building, Bill became a very good friend overall. And I want to extend my deepest condolences to his family, to his wife, Diane, to his son, Will, and his wife, Kara. And then Bill absolutely cherished his 2 grandsons, as I know many people do. But Trip and Dax, they're missing out on a great granddad, but they got to know him for a good bit. So at this point, with your permission, Mr. President, I would request a moment of silence for Highland County Auditor for 32 years, Bill Foley.
Thank you, Senator Wilkin. Would the members of the Senate and our guests please rise for a moment of silence in memory of Highland County Auditor Bill Foley. Thank you. The chair recognizes Senator Gavarone for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that senators absent the week of Sunday, December 7th, 2025 be excused so long as a written explanation is on file with the clerk pursuant to Senate Rule 17.
The question is, shall the motion be agreed to? Without objection, the motion is agreed to. Offering of resolutions. The question is, shall the resolutions listed under the President's prerogative be adopted? Without objection, the resolutions are adopted. Message from the House.
Mr. President, I'm directed to inform you that the Speaker of the House of Representatives has signed the following bills. House Bills 29, 114, 129, 184, 186, 246, 247, 309, 335, 440, and Senate Bills 17, 103, 217, and 293.
Before we get to our final motion of the day, I would like to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a holiday season.
So that's, Ohio doing what Ohio does. Sorry I was late on that, getting that live up there. But as you can see, there was 21 yays, 7 no's on SB 56 on moving it to whatever they got to move it towards. As you can see, the Democratic Party basically was like, yeah, we need to do something with hemp, regulate hemp in, or not grocery stores, but drive-throughs and retail spots. But no social equity. You taking the social equity is crazy, especially like what's crazy to me is like, it's not crazy because they know what they're doing, right? A lot of people are locked up for low-level drug offenses, right? A lot of people are in the prison system, whether that's on papers, house arrest, whether they got something going on because of weed. So they know if they have to expunge all these records, clear all of these people from these non-violent, low-level cannabis offenses, one, it's going to take a lot of money out of the prison system. It's going to take labor. It's going to take a lot of just different jobs probably. So that's really one of the reasons why they don't want to do automatic expungements. They don't want social equity. They don't want black and brown and poor white people having an opportunity to grow their own weed, market and sell their own weed legally. That's why they're doing this. Also, there's healthcare implications. If you're growing cannabis, consuming cannabis, now you're healthier, you're making more money. you don't got to go to the state. You don't need to use the state as much, right? So we got to be very cognizant of why these politicians are moving the way they're moving here in Ohio. But you also have to be more involved. You know what I mean? Like this, I don't know how many people were there for this general assembly for this meeting, but um, you can go to the State House, you could watch it live, just like I just pulled it up, ohiochannel.org. You can watch all the state politics on ohiochannel.org. And people must watch because they're doing things, they're making laws, they're making bills, they're creating policy that's going to impact a lot of people, right? And so the policy and laws that Trump is making at the federal level is going to impact the local level, right? When you look at SNAP benefits, Trump, not allowing those SNAP benefits to come impacted thousands, tens of thousands of people here in the state of Ohio. And so, people have to understand the state politics is important. You know what I mean? It's not all about the federal government, right? It's not even about just your city politics. What's going on at the state level? How are they allocating money, resources, low interest grants or low interest loans from the state, right? Grants from the state. How are they allocating tax dollars that Ohio citizens are paying into the state? How are they using that, right? So when you look at cannabis, and 36% of those taxes are supposed to go to social equity, community, the community fund, and they've just been holding on to it. Whole time they're spending all this time trying to take away stuff, but they can't make an amendment to create uh, a way to disseminate that money. Is crazy because they can. They're just not doing it, right? They don't want to disseminate $80 million to local communities for social equity, social justice, community fund, education fund, resources, addiction services. You know what I mean? So, I'm tapped in. You know what I mean? I'm an executive, I'm a CEO, I'm a president of a nonprofit, but I am not greedy like a lot of these people are. And it's very unfortunate. You know what I mean? A lot of people will make decisions, based on their own greed, right? It's not like that's what business is. Like a lot of people aren't doing business to be friends, you know what I mean? Or to make friends, you know what I mean? People are in business to compete. And so whether that's to compete for the best product, whether that's compete for the best service, whether that's to compete for the best workers, whether that's to compete for the biggest market share, at the end of the day, American capitalism feeds off of made up competition. And it really starts at the governmental level, right? And we're seeing how the government, especially the state government, is fixing the cannabis industry, right? Like some of these dudes are getting kickbacks, most likely, from some of these cannabis companies, right? They're having backdoor meetings, they're having events, private events that you can only come to this event. It's a nonprofit event, but you can only come to this event if you can pay your membership fee, you know what I mean? If you're tapped in. And so that keeps the average person out. Right. When you only have 186 dispensaries, you have a few of those who are owned by multiple people, or one person or one company, one entity owns multiple. Then you have multi-state operators. So you have companies like True Relief that own cannabis dispensaries all over the country. And it's going to be impossible for somebody like just a basic, let's say, Ohio citizen that doesn't know much, doesn't have a lot of capital to compete against somebody or a company like True Relief, right? Who has, tens of hundreds of millions of dollars in capital, access to capital. And so that's what's happening right now in Ohio. Obviously, you have your craft grows. Obviously, you have people that can go up to Michigan, and so people are going to get their weed regardless, whether they're growing it, whether they're traveling, whether they got a plug that's going to get it, whether the plug is sending the weed through the mail. People going to get the weed. You know what I mean? So Ohio just need to open the fuck up. You know what I mean? And I'm in Columbus, so, we got weed in Columbus. But it's just interesting, you know what I mean, to see how the political thing works, you know what I mean, on a state level, especially if you're not born into it, especially if you're somebody that, is probably not aware of how laws and bills and stuff are passed at the state level. So make sure you guys continue to follow, subscribe to Ohio Cannabis Report. Again, this is for news and entertainment purposes only. All opinions are my own. They are not representative of any of the companies or organizations that I am a part of. These are my opinions, my thoughts, unless they come from a news article. Again, this is for adult or for entertainment and information or educational purposes only. So please follow us on Instagram at Ohio Cannabis Report, also at Ohio_cannabis_report. Follow us on Facebook at Ohio Cannabis Report. And make sure you stay tapped in. If you have any questions, if you have any tips, any stories that you want to share with us, you can write us at ohiocannabisreport@gmail.com, or you can direct message us on our Instagram, Facebook page, or you can write a comment under this video and I'll be sure to get back to you guys. That's all we have for today. I wanted to make sure that I covered that session at the State House. Might be back on later with some more news, information, and education, but hope you guys have a good rest of your Tuesday. Peace.